Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. That's Scotty, and this is Round Our Way. How we doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
I think United need a striker, though, so I'm happy with the rumours that are coming out today.
Yeah, well, we just thought we're gonna get into all that. Make sure you do get involved in the chat and the comments. It is a live video. Yeah, we're going to talk about United potentially going for someone in January. We know we've had issues, haven't we, up front this season with injuries and people just getting a bit older and what have you. And it looks like we could do with a bit of additional firepower, shall we say. One of the biggest sort of problems that Erik ten Hag's had to deal with has been the fact that, Anthony Martial, who did have a good pre-season and who, has done all right when he's played.
Yep.
He's barely played. I think he's played 100 minutes in the Premier League this season. And you have to ask yourself, can you rely on him in, for the rest of the season when he's barely kicked a ball? Can you rely on a 37-year-old Ronaldo to play week in, week out? We'll get into some of the players that are doing the rounds in terms of like who potentially United could go for. But just on the players we've got available, do you think we are a little bit short?
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's something we were screaming out for in the summer when we were linked with several centre forwards, and it's something that I think will maybe the downfall of our season if we don't reach like finals of cups or even win anything. I think goal scoring is going to come down to, and I do feel for Anthony Martial, and I think Ten Hag said in his press conference today that he feels for him because every time he's come onto the pitch, he's really proven himself, hasn't he? And I've been Martial's biggest critic over the last sort of 3 or 4 seasons, and I didn't think he was good enough to lead the front line, and it looked like it may be turning the corner this year, but for a club that has any sort of serious interests in being successful, we can't rely on Anthony Martial. The flip side of it is Ronaldo scores against Everton. You hope that might give him the impetus to sort of move on and kickstart. I think Ten Hag also said about him not having a pre-season may have had an effect onto his fitness. But can you rely on a 37-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo to get you enough goals? I think we need to start scoring goals more across the park as well, but not just reliant on strikers.
No, I agree. We'll get into those comments in a minute. Make sure you're getting involved in the chat as well and let us know what you think about Cristiano Ronaldo. What do you think about Anthony Martial? What do you think about some of the players that we've been linked with? Obviously, some of them are a little bit more tongue-in-cheek than others. I think, the Kylian Mbappé one is perhaps a little bit of wishful thinking there. I know he's unhappy at PSG, and there are rumours that maybe he could be on the way out, but will he come to Manchester United? I doubt it. Anyway, first of all, let's see what Erik ten Hag had to say about Martial. He gave a bit of an update on his injury. Martial obviously going off after, I think, was it 28 minutes? Yeah. It was really frustrating, wasn't it? Because there was these rumours before the game that he picked up a knock. Do you remember, like, in the warm-up? And everyone's like, oh, finally, his first Premier League start. Then you hear he's injured in the warm-up. And you think, oh, God, here we go. Then he starts and you think, oh, nice one. And you can see straight away he wasn't right.
Yeah.
I know he got an assist. Then he goes off, before even half an hour. So it's just like, oh, God, it's just one of these seasons. It says here that Martial could return against Newcastle on Sunday, but has been ruled out for the Europa League game tomorrow with Nicosia. He's missed 7 of United's 11 matches this season due to Achilles, hamstring, and back injuries.
That's the problem, though, isn't it? It's not like it's one injury that's keeping him out. It just seems to be all over his body. He seems to get in niggles left, right, and centre. And it felt like he was rushed back against Everton. And if there is a chance that he come play against Newcastle, do you take the risk there might be more injuries down the line, or do you just rest him for as long as possible, put him in a cryo chamber or something?
No, you're right. I mean,
reminds me of when Solskjaer played Rashford into the ground. That's what Everton, Martial coming on against Everton was. And
it's just been so frustrating because I think he picked up the knock, didn't he, against Atletico Madrid in pre-season where he went off. Then he misses the first 2 games. He missed Brentford and Brighton, didn't he? He played 45 minutes against Liverpool, did well. And then you think, okay, now he can kick. Then he's another knock. He's picked up another injury. He's not fit after that game. And I think a total, going into this season, so far this season, I think it's literally like 100 minutes in the Premier League. In how many games have we played? We played 8 games. I mean, you want your strikers to be playing in it. As Ronaldo Brown always says, the best ability is availability.
Yeah, that's a great quote. How old is Martial now?
Anthony Martial, I think he's 25. Let me double check that.
He seems young to be picking up so many injuries, though, doesn't he?
26, sorry. He's 26. So, he's not far off what you'd expect to be his peak.
Yeah.
And it is a shame because he's had a bit of a time of it. And 3 seasons ago, he had that great season where he scored 23 goals. The next season didn't happen for him. 4 Premier League goals, 7 goals in 36 games in all competitions. The season after that, last season, a bit of a disaster. 1 goal in the Premier League against Everton, funnily enough. Goes to Sevilla. Doesn't happen there, does it? I think he got 1 goal. Was it in the Europa, I want to say? Am I right in that thinking that?
Were you surprised that he came back?
Yes. I thought he was done. And we spoke to Semra Hunter, who she works for the Liga TV, and she was, she didn't sugarcoat it. She said his time at Sevilla was terrible. Do you know what I mean? He went there, and I think they were in with a title challenge when he got there, and they made a big fuss of him.
Oh, they were trying to get that merch out the window on their social media.
They
were
stops,
killing that. Yeah,
hey, fair play to him, but he didn't get going. Do you know what I mean? And I think there was a lot of frustration there. Sorry, with some of the fans and the manager and whatnot. They expected more, and you begin to think, is this the sort of I was thinking, is this the end of him at the top level?
Yeah, I mean, has he ever reached the top level? Because United certainly have been, punching at the very top, have they? While Martial's been at United, would you say? Maybe under Jose, but I don't think he was doing it there.
We've had times, haven't we, where Martial, has been part of a team that's finished 2nd in the league or 3rd in the league. Do you know what I mean? That's the top level of football, isn't it? I mean,
right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking, if you go to Sevilla,
but Martial's never been an elite striker.
No. But if you go to Sevilla and then you get moved on from there,
it's only downhill.
You're probably looking at maybe someone like an Everton type scenario. Do you know what I mean? That's what I thought could happen for him. As a pre-season where he reminds everyone what he's capable of, you think, okay, Ten Hag, new manager, he obviously rates him. He's linking up well with his teammates like Sancho and Rashford in pre-season in particular. Everyone's getting a clean slate. Let's give him one. But these injuries, man, they're a nightmare.
Did we keep him, do you think, because he wasn't focusing on getting a centre forward? Obviously, with the rumours that Ronaldo wanted to leave that came later on towards the pre-season, that meant we might be in the market. But obviously, Ten Hag identified defensive midfielder, obviously Anthony as well, and defenders. Do you think a striker might not have been the priority this year? And it was never going to be something that we could fix in one window.
No.
So do you think Martial coming back, that Ten Hag sort of rolled the dice and thought I might have enough to get through here?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you look, it was obvious sort of what the priorities were at United. Midfield was obviously one, wasn't it? We chased after De Jong for the entire summer. When we didn't get him, we still managed to get Casemiro and Eriksen. Defensively as well, obviously making additions. We did get Anthony in the end, but in terms of an out-and-out striker, it never felt like that was... There wasn't even anything concrete in terms of links, was there?
No.
There was rumours, wasn't there?
Was it that Shesko who we were linking?
Yeah, there was a few where you go like, okay, there might be something there, but nothing where you go, oh, right, that's definitely going to happen. Yeah. And I think, was it Ralph Ragnick, when he was manager, was saying like he'd earmarked a few strikers in the board. Like, I know that was last season, but the board were having none of it. Eric Ten Hag's coming in, you go, okay, are we going to buy a striker? Are we going to go for anyone? And he did, to be fair to Eric Ten Hag, he did sort of give everyone a chance, and he, regardless of whether he wanted to or not, he has made a bit of an olive branch with Cristiano Ronaldo, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think that us needing a striker shows the progression that has happened with the new signings and under Ten Hag, because under Solskjaer, you're like, well, what area do you need to improve? Because it was all over the pitch, you know what I mean? And now it's just evident that it's just the top end of the pitch where we are crying out for something. But will we get someone in January? Will the Glazers spend any money? Will there be anybody out there that's... You don't really get many signings, and it's like I was saying to you off camera that the World Cup's coming up, and it just seems like United have done in the past may sign a player that's performed well over in Qatar.
Yeah. Just on the Ronaldo front, Eric Ten Hag, in his press conference, he was speaking ahead of the Ammonia game tomorrow. I think it was him and Vitz Lindelof who did the Europa League press conference. He spoke about Ronaldo, and he said, I want to support him as good as possible. We have certain demands from players, what we expect in certain positions. I want to get the best out of him. He's in better shape now, and I'm happy with that. At the start, it was the case, a lack of fitness. It's proven once again, no one can miss a pre-season. Yeah, so he's obviously mentioning the fact there that Ronaldo didn't really have a pre-season, did he? Was it Real Valencia?
Valenciano.
Yeah, he played half the game, that didn't he? And then there was all that big sort of drama about him leaving early. On Martial as well, he says, Eric Ten Hag again, of course, I want him in. Sometimes it's disappointing when they aren't available because I know we need him. When they aren't, you have to deal with the situation.
Given Ronaldo's age, Portugal are going to the World Cup.
Yeah.
So are you worried about that? Because you look at, I mean, not that you compare like for like, but obviously City have got Haaland who isn't going to the World Cup.
That's good, isn't it? He gets a rest. That's just what we want.
And he gets like to
him having 2 months or 6 weeks off.
Recharge his robot batteries.
Yeah.
But we've got our best striker who's going to Qatar for 4 weeks playing international football and then coming back. you know. And then
not
Rashford,
ideal,
no, and then Rashford could go as well. I'd be happy. I know Marcus probably wants to go to Qatar, but I'd be happy if he didn't go.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I think the whole England thing's a bit of a circus anyway. I don't think, more often than not, especially United historically, it just seems to cause a headache for us.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? We usually end up coming back with public enemy number one, even when it's not even an English player. Remember, Ronaldo was hated because he winked. Then you had the effigies of Beckham. Then you had.
Was it Phil Neville that got the penalty?
Yeah, good shout in the Euros in 2000, sorry. I think it was when he gave the penalty against Romania or whatever it was. And then there was obviously Marcus and Jadon Sancho missing, having the audacity to miss penalties. So we've always had this where, more often than not, our players come back from the World Cup or from a tournament with, the nation out for him. And it doesn't help, does it? I mean...
Leave them here, Gareth. You can take Wan-Bissaka, Shaw and Maguire.
Yeah?
And Phil Jones, just for the bants.
I'd love it if it did. We'll get into some comments. Let us know what you think. We'll get into some of the targets as well. As you can see from the thumbnail, we've obviously got Mbappe, we've got Gakpo, and we've got Ivan Toney on there as well. Loads of people in the comments. Richie says Gakpo would be a steal, to be fair. Mr. Tafari says Cody's the only one that makes any sense. Sweaty Legend says you never see a Pogba or Mbappe at Bayern Munich. That's who we should be modelling our club after. He's talking about the sort of the Bayern Munich model there. 20 Legend says Jonathan David. I think that's the Canadian lad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a few people. Gakpo, Scott says Gakpo seems to be attracting a lot of attention lately. So his fee will only go one way after the World Cup. I'm just having a look here.
How much are we expecting that Gakpo will cost? Do we have any sort of ballpark figures?
I'm not sure. Ronnie, what do you reckon? How much would Gakpo cost? In excess of how much? 30 million euros. That's a... Yeah, we could have got him cheap, apparently, if we'd have got him in the summer, but we didn't. And now, we'll just get into that. We'll have a look at some of the stats of these players. The Gakpo's having an absolute worldie of a season.
Yep.
13 goals, 10 assists in 16 games. So that's 23 goal contributions in 16 games. Has the same goal contributions this season as Erling Haaland, averaging a goal contribution every 56 minutes this season. So, yeah, he's a bit of a...
Sign him.
Yeah, in the Dutch Eredivisie this season, he's got 9 goals and 6 assists in 9 matches, 5.19 XG, 9 goals from 20 shots on target, a 32.2% conversion rate from 29 shots overall. He's averaging a staggering 4 key passes per game, which is more than any other player in the league. So this kid's got it all, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I think if you're not, but on them stats, and if it continues like Ronaldo was saying into the World Cup and the remainder of the season, it's only going to cost more money in the summer. And we go back to it time and time again. What's the Glazers' end game? Did they want to win something this year, or did they want to win something 2-3? Did they want to win something full stop? Because we could be in for some trophies. Europa League, later stages, pushing towards Champions League. If it comes down to us needing a striker, are we going to put our hands in our pockets to sign him? Because you say it, from what the statistics show there, it sounds like a fantastic player.
I mean, we've missed out in the past, haven't we? Really, I think by being a little bit short-sighted, shall we say, or just glazonomics when it comes to strikers. We all loved Odion Ighalo for his Instagram posts and stuff like that, but that didn't really take us anywhere, did it, that signing?
No.
Do you know what I mean? When we got to you mentioned there the latter stages, we got to the FA Cup semi, didn't we? The Europa League semi, the League Cup semi. I think, to be fair, that was earlier on in the year, so it wasn't really anything to do with him. But you feel like, had we got a big striker there who could have come in and got some goals, maybe a Haaland who we were linked with, that might have got us over the line in those competitions. Ighalo comes in, nice lad, likeable, love all the social media stuff, scored a great goal against Lask.
Sweet volley, that one.
Yeah, but was he going to get you a trophy?
I don't know. He looked like he was, living the dream, like he won a competition when he was there. Do you know what I mean? He was so happy to be there. Anyway, it was a great feel-good story, but it was never good enough to lead the line for Manchester United. No. But I know... looking back over strikers we've signed in recent years that were at the peak, Lukaku maybe is probably the last one we've signed, and that was a disaster. And I was quite optimistic about that sign, but it just ended in tears.
Flatters to deceive Lukaku. I've had this discussion with a lot of people, because on paper, it's 42 goals in 96 games. It doesn't look too shabby.
No.
But you look at the record against the top 6 was terrible. you look at how it was all fits and starts. 9 goals in his first 11 games, then 1 in his next 8.
Yeah.
That sort of thing where it's feast or famine, and you're scoring against the dross. And when you need him in those big games, he just didn't turn up. And you remember the Manchester derby where I think he set up 2 City goals, didn't he? It's just like it didn't work.
No.
And then then he comes back from the World Cup, whether it's by luck or design or whatever, but he's put on a load of timber. And it didn't help him.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And then you've got all these memes and everything going round, and it ended in a bit of a farcical sort of situation.
Yeah, and what was it, like 80, 90 million?
Yeah, I think he was.
And then if you compare that to Zlatan, who was probably 10 years his senior the year
and
before, and we won the Europa League. He's probably the best striker we've signed
post-Fergie. Yeah, I agree completely. I think he's the only one who's, you can say was a success. There was not really any caveat there, is there?
No.
Yes, by the second season he'd had an injury and he didn't really do anything. But that first season, a couple of trophies, big goals as well. They remember the League Cup final against Southampton, popping up with a winner, scoring a few goals in the Europa League run as well, and just having that aura about him, didn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When Zlatan was on the pitch, you always had that belief.
He was a captain, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was a leader of men, and he was sorely missing once he'd left Manchester United. Do you not think that we could, if we aren't going to spend any money, we could promote from within? Obviously, Garnacho, I think he scored for in international break last time, and he looks a decent player, but a bit too soon for him.
Yeah, I mean, there's Garnacho. I know he's a bit more of a sort of inverted winger or whatever. There's Charlie McNeil, who I love. I just feel he's not a few years, maybe a year away from being ready to sort of challenge for that first team place. I'm all for giving youngsters an opportunity. It's the one sort of constant about Manchester United is we've always done that. I just feel like some of these players just probably not ready yet.
No,
and especially
pressure,
especially if in January, like you were saying. Say we're doing all right. Say you're through to the last stages of the Europa League. Say you're in the sort of top 4 hunt in the league and you're doing all right in the FA Cup. You need a player who can come in and go, right, I've got 15, 20 goals in between now and the end of the season. And I think those players you mentioned, whilst eventually I think they'll be top draw, they're probably not there yet, are they?
No, you don't want someone to learn the trade when you're pushing for something.
We've done that, haven't we? You're right, it's a good point, because I feel like we do that all the time. There was an element that with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as manager, there was an element that with some of the players, it was like, just keep throwing them in and we'll be all right. And then you come unstuck a little bit. And I think when you look at now what's happened, for me anyway, you may disagree, the bar's been raised on it. I think that, not just in terms of title challenges now, you need, unless you're getting over 95 points, you ain't challenging for a title. But also, that top 4 race, Arsenal finally got their act together. Conte, I think, is a good manager, and I think that there's, Spurs, you can argue that some of them signings aren't that great, but they've at least spent some money, haven't they? And they've got Kane and Son, who are always going to be capable of getting you goals. The Scousers have imploded, but can you count them out? Are they going to be there or thereabouts?
Well, I think it might be between United and the Scousers for that fourth spot. I think so, maybe.
Do you reckon that, like...
It'd be interesting when we play Spurs, because I think that...
it's not far, is it the 19th of October?
Yeah, I don't think it's too far off, but whilst I'm a huge fan of Conte, I do think implosion could be coming.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I think the performance in Europe flat to deceive a couple of weeks ago, and I know Spurs fans are getting a little bit... They feel like it's Mourinho Mark II, which was what a lot of United fans didn't want Conte to succeed Rangnick for. So that could be something that we could clutch on to. But I don't think that we should be looking at how other people perform when we have enough in our locker now that we should be pushing on. Tomorrow night, I know you'll probably do a preview of it, but...
Yeah, well, there's one up. There's preview's already up. After this video, go and check it out. Make sure you're hitting the like button as well. Let's get to 200 likes.
Don't you think we're due to see a spanking? I'd love to see, go out tomorrow night and just a nice 5-0.
Well, me and Joe were talking about this in the preview, because... Joe made the point that this is as easy a game as you're going to get.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No disrespect to them. And you can argue, you can have the old argument, there's no easy games in Europe. Well, there is. And this is one of them. On paper, I mean, this is a team that's 242nd in the world. You should be battering them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are no excuses. It was a bit embarrassing. We had to sort of, pull our socks up over in Cyprus to get a result. You should be able to turn over Ammonia. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Not turn them over. We should be out there hammering them.
Yeah.
And I just think that confident that them sort of wins breed confidence throughout.
No, I agree. And it's. I mean, I might be sort of forgetting, but when was the last time we battered someone?
We haven't done it this season, have we?
No.
We've been battered.
Yeah,
a few times.
We battered off Brentford, didn't we? And City as well. Yeah. Bloody hell. Yeah, we haven't. Well, we've had good results. Arsenal and Liverpool were good, good games, whatever. But
go back to the beginning of last season when we beat Newcastle and Leeds.
Bloody hell. That's
Seriously,
a year ago, innit?
yeah, that's a year ago.
That is terrible, that, isn't it?
We need to be seeing 4+ goals.
Right. And let's let
They've got the talent for it now, haven't they? Even though we're talking about not having a lack of a striker, there's enough goals going in there now.
Yeah, no, I agree. Josh Chambers makes a great point. Glazers out always. Twatty Legend says we didn't sign him because of one thing: the Glazers. They didn't sanction the funds. I'm not sure who's talking about there, but it could be anyone. And it's always the Glazers in it usually that stops us buying some players. Another player on our list. I'll go through the rest of the list, on our thumbnail list, should we say, was Ivan Toney. Now, he's become a bit of a flavour of the month, hasn't he, with a lot of people. 6 goals this season, 2 assists in 9 Premier League games, has 72 goal involvements in 99 Brentford games. Obviously, did well when he played us, when he beat us 4-0. What do you make of Ivan Toney?
I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's good enough to play for Manchester United. And when you see those statistics of 72 goal involvements in 99 Brentford games, that's because he's probably Brentford's best player, so everything's going to go through him anyway. So by logic, you're going to be involved in the goals that they score.
Yeah.
It looks like a good player. You got the English tax as well on that. I imagine Brentford will want more for Ivan Toney than PSV would want for Gakpo.
Yeah, apparently there was talk of him getting... I think his deal runs out in 2025, and there's talk of him being offered a new deal with a buyout clause, whether that's to put people off or just so Brentford get a little bit of insurance. I like Toney. He seems like a good player. He's good on dead balls, isn't he? And he's something different. I think he'd be good as an option. I don't know if he's the guy to be the main guy for Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? And also... Now he's been in the England squad, and he got
called up in the last time.
Gareth Southgate calling him up, so that's always going to sort of increase his value or whatever you want to call it. This one for me feels a little bit more like this is fan led than anything I've seen with reporters or stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's been linked with us, but I see it on socials more than I do in any newspapers where you go, United are in from, or United are making a bid, or United preparing a bid, or any of that stuff. It doesn't seem like there's anything there.
Well, no, it's just fans clutching at that striker scoring a few goals. Maybe he could do it at United. It's like the lad from, was it Fulham? He started on fire, didn't he? And his name started getting banned. Yeah, he started getting banded about as being the next Manchester United centre forward. I just can't see it happening. Maybe he'll go to the World Cup. Maybe he'll set it on light. But me personally, and I know we're going to get onto them now, I'd just like to see all the money in the world thrown by a superstar centre forward.
Well, I love that. I've probably told you, Scotty, I love transfers more than I love anything. Like, even trophies, forget trophies.
Yeah.
It's boring, isn't it? Who would win another trophy? Who gives a shit? I love transfers, mate. That's all I want, yeah? My favourite time as a United fan was when we were like, just went turbo under Van Gaal. You know, we're just buying everyone.
Yeah.
Never mind winning the treble and winning titles and all that stuff. We can do all that. I love transfers. Dameless Sam in the chat says, if we sign Toney, we could have a front line of Anthony, Toney, Anthony and Anthony.
That's good.
Yeah.
There used to be a band called Toney.
I remember that, yeah.
R&B band.
Yeah, so we could do. Maybe we should just get him for that then. Hey, why not? The big name that's doing the rounds at the minute, because he's unhappy with his lot in Paris, is Kylian Mbappé.
Yep.
His record, if anyone wants to know.
Is he any good, this kid?
I don't know. Apparently he's all right. He's won like a few things and that, and there's a bit of a there's rumours that him and Paul Pogba might have fallen out because of witch doctors and all that.
Really?
Have you heard that one?
No,
yeah.
I've not heard
Apparently
that one, for
Paul
God's sake.
Pogba hired a witch doctor, you know, to put a curse on him. That was one of the stories.
Well,
doing the rounds.
maybe it's worked, because before we get to Mbappe, remember when Lingard left and he thought he was going to get good stuff in Nottingham Forest, and Henderson
Are you
as
implying
well.
that being sat at the bottom of the Premier League is not a good move for them?
And then Pogba's Juventus are struggling as well. The grass is not always greener, is it, lads?
It isn't, lads. Hey, should have stuck around for the Ten Hag revolution. Mbappe, 12 goals in 13 games this season, 183 goals and 88 assists in 230 games for PSG. Averages a goal contribution even every 67 minutes in his PSG career. And he's obviously done the business for France in the World Cup as well. They won the World Cup in 2018. And he's got time on his side, hasn't he? He's a young man like me and you. He's, how old is he? He's 23. And he's been around a lot, hasn't he? For the 23-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, how many seasons? Let me just have a little scroll there. I mean, 1, 2, what's that, about six seasons or something stupid like that. Mbappe, it'd be great if you could get him.
Yeah, I mean,
Wouldn't it?
it'd be good for Mbappe as well to sort of play alongside his hero Rashford. I know he had posters on his wall as a kid, so that be good for Kylian to get a dream come true. I mean, if United sign him, would they have to give away half of the club? Is that how it works now with Kylian Mbappe's contract?
Isn't he like the sporting director of PSG or something? Isn't he like the co-chairman?
Has he just gone into himself and said, like, look, I'm sat either side of the desk?
Yeah, it's like that Spider-Man, mate.
Yeah.
He's like that in the mirror. You need to sort your life out. You're God.
What have you signed this manager for?
Yeah. Oh, hang on a minute. It's me. Yeah. I mean, he was linked with Real Madrid, wasn't he, in the summer? Apparently, Paris Saint-Germain went, don't go to Madrid. We'll just give you everything, like to keep you, including like the wages. You can pick the team, you can write the theme tune, you can do everything. And he was like, right, all right, then I'll stick around. And then 2 or 3 months later, it's all gone Pete Song, and now he's unhappy.
Good.
I mean, I don't know what's gone on there. I don't know why he's unhappy.
What did he want? Do you know what I mean? What sort of career do you want? Why would you not go to Real Madrid in the summer? He would have got all the wealth, from Madrid. Probably more chance of winning the Champions League. And karma's a bitch, Kylian.
Get into some of the comments. Let us know what you think about Kylian Mbappe. Alex Buckingham, who's been a first-team member for 24 months, says, if we signed Mbappe, that would be pure poison. I'm happy to sign him on FIFA, but he keep the F*** away from us. Clayton M says, Tammy Abraham. Daimler Sam says, he's been a member of the academy for 8 months, says, save up for Bellingham before anyone else gets him. Just on Tammy Abraham, he's done bits on it at Roma.
Yeah, it was fantastic for Roma last season under Jose Mourinho. I think he should get played for England a lot more. I'm not too sure if he's what United need right now. Obviously, Roma are playing a less fluid type of football you'd expect under Jose Mourinho. So whether he comes from, if he come from Rome to Manchester and he'd fit straight in, I'm not too sure. But he's a good striker, and to get the statistics he has in a league that's known for not leaking many goals is complimentary to him. And they love him over there as well. Like, the Romans have really taken to Tammy.
Yeah, he's done well. I'm a big fan of young English players going over to Italy or wherever, taking that punt and doing well. We've seen, I know he's a little bit older, Chris Smalling's done well, hasn't he, over at Roma. And
Smaldini, they call him, the Romans.
Love that, and he's learning the lingo as well. You see him doing interviews in Italian?
No.
Yeah, he did an interview in Italian. He's better interviewing Italian than
I never understand why young English players don't go abroad more often. Like, if you're living somewhere like Leicester,
wow,
there must be other clubs to go to.
You love just upsetting towns, don't you, in cities?
Oh, where else? Grimsby. There must be like some club on the continent that's got a beach. I mean, Grimsby probably got. It's got a coastline,
didn't we?
We did it. I went to Malia FC.
We went to Malia, me and him. We took that plunge and went to Malia, Crete for a summer. So if you were a footballer, I'm sure you can go and ply your trade in
You're cultural.
Oh yeah. Do you know what I mean? Listen, you can always play in the Premier League. Don't worry about that. Get over there and sort of. Football oats.
Widen your horizons.
Yeah, I mean, I respect Jadon Sancho for doing it.
Yeah, and Bellingham as well.
He could have. Jadon Sancho could have warmed the bench at City, picked up a couple of Premier League winners' medals, a big fat wage, and no one would have thought any less of him.
No.
Instead, he went over to Dortmund, did well, won a trophy, played in the Champions League, did well to get another move, or a big move, I should say, to Manchester United. You're right as well. Jude Bellingham could have signed for United when he was 16. United apparently pulled out all the stops to try and get him, but he didn't. He wanted to sort of, to go over and not prove himself, but to get that experience, and he's done well there. I mean, now he's, the talk of the town, and I think it was.
Someone just said there, save up for him.
Sam saying
he'll be the most sought after player in Europe next summer, I imagine, Jude Bellingham. Jay, so. You're 25, 26, you're playing in England, you're playing at Leicester.
That is my age. Yeah.
And you can choose anywhere around the world to go to for a football club.
Oh, that's
we're not just looking at the what you'll achieve there, but also for the cultural highlights.
The cultural highlights, yeah.
Right. So what other club across Europe would you go to?
That's a very, very good question.
How about you out there? What club would you sign to if you were an English player and you could go abroad?
When I was growing up, the biggest clubs in the world were United, Real Madrid, Barca. Those were the big uns, the biggest. I think maybe you can argue Bayern and Juve in there, but I think for me, I still, even though it's been tainted a lot over the last few years, especially with the shenanigans that have gone on, I still feel like Barca's the
one to go to.
The one. I'd be very, if I was a footballer and I got the opportunity to go and play for Barcelona, I'd want to say that.
Yeah.
I think, to play in that wonderful stadium in front of them fans and to represent a club that's had so many good players and even Barcelona on a bad season still have a chance at something, don't they? Winning something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The prestige that goes with
I
playing
think
for
that for
Barcelona.
me would probably be one. And I always think Barcelona, it's almost like it's a win-win because I think if you go to Barcelona and it doesn't work out, you can still go to another big club. People don't go, oh, that's it, that's your last chance, that Barcelona.
There are decent rungs.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like you can leave Barcelona and go to Juve, which is one of the biggest clubs of all time. And it's not like your career's done. Whereas if you go to, say, I don't know, just a Valencia or whatever, and you struggled, people might, is he the top level player we thought? What about yourself?
I'd probably go to play for Majorca. You play football during the day on a Saturday.
Why are you going to play for Benidorm?
Benidorm. Bit more classy than that, lad. Majorca, you plays football on a Saturday afternoon, then you're out in Magaluf in the evening.
I think your career at Majorca won't last very long.
What 2 weeks it would
I
be.
can see the manager and the chairman doing a joint press conference where they announced that David Scott has left the club by mutual consent.
And I walk him holding a fishbowl.
Molly says FC Ayanapa.
Mate.
Josh Dean says I'd play for Hooters. We've created a monster here. Listen, thanks to everybody who got involved in the chat and the comments. You can check out me and Scotty on Scotty and Marty. We've got a Patreon now as well. There's a link in the chat there for extra content. Go and check that out. Make sure you are checking out Scotty and Marty podcast. Also, as well, don't forget to check out the video we were talking about earlier, the preview of the Ammonia game, myself and Joe Smith looking at that. What are you up to this week?
Jiu-jitsu tonight. I'm kicking some ass.
Yeah.
I'm getting my ass kicked. And then...
What's the goal with the long-term goal with Jiu-jitsu? Are you trying to get to like black belt or anything like that?
I don't know about black belt and stuff.
No, you know what I mean? Eventually.
I'd like to start. I'd like to fight in proper like tournaments.
You would, you?
Yeah.
Why not? Cobra Kai and all that.
No, that's karate.
Oh, is it?
Your martial arts mixed up wrong.
Sorry, I'm not really up to speed with it. I need to go and rewatch Karate Kid. So you can check him out on Scotty and Marty. You can check him out on this channel as well. We'll be back next week with me next Wednesday, 4 o'clock, round our way. Yeah, I don't like the idea of you learning kung fu. You're gonna end up thinking
it's not kung fu. Stop getting martial arts wrong.
Judo. Right. Anyway, this has been Round Our Way with me, Marty, and him, Scotty. Thanks for watching.